Welcome to the Wow Body Podcast, where we redefine what it means to be a healthy, ambitious woman. I'm your host, Renee, a nutritionist, women's health coach, personal trainer, and founder of Beyond the Body. Around here, we talk about building energy from the inside out through food, movement, mindset, and living in sync with our natural rhythms. No more quick fixes, no more burnout, just evidence-based tools and empowering conversations to help you thrive in your body and your life. This is your reminder that health isn't a side hustle. It's the foundation of everything that you do. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is all about the foundation of everything that I teach, and that is nutrition first. Because when your nutrition is dialed in, everything else, like your energy, your focus, your training, your mood, and even your relationships really start to flow. I'm calling this episode Building Energy from the Inside Out because it's exactly what happens when you stop chasing motivation and start fueling yourself properly. If you're a woman with big goals, maybe you're building a business, maybe you're raising kids, maybe you're working a big job, or trying to show up consistently in your workouts, you can't just run on coffee, stress, and snacks. And what I see so often is this cycle of under-eating through the day, over-snacking at night, and then wondering why energy and focus are all over the place. Nutrition isn't just about aesthetics or macros, it's about creating biological safety, giving your body what it needs so that you can perform mentally and physically. And when your body feels safe, it releases energy. And when it doesn't, it stores it. So I really want to break down what I call the PFF plus C framework, which is protein, fat, fiber, and color. And it's simple, okay? And it's the foundation I want everyone to build when it comes to their food. So starting with P, which is P is for protein, and protein is your anchor. It builds lean muscle, it balances hormones, and keeps your energy stable. And we want to be aiming for at least 30 to 40 grams per meal to ensure that we're getting enough with every meal and every day. Then our next one is fats, healthy fats. Think avocado, olive oil, nuts, seeds. These are crucial for hormone production and nervous system regulation. Then we move on to the next F, which is fiber. Fiber is underestimatedly important. It literally is the building block to what helps support your gut microbiome, which will directly influence your mood, immunity, and blood sugar control. A lot of what goes on in our gut is how we think and how we feel. There is this amazing connection between the gut and the brain. And so when we're not getting enough fiber, and when our gut microbiome is not thriving, it's no wonder we feel fatigued, lethargic, and we're thinking thoughts that maybe aren't so positive. Finally, the next part of the framework, which is C, is color. Okay, think plants, herbs, spices, all the different colors that you can put on your plate possible. These are your antioxidants and your phytonutrients that help to detoxify hormones and support your longevity. When you build your plate in this way and you use this framework, you instantly stabilize blood sugar, which means fewer crashes, clearer focus, and consistent energy all day. And the science here is simple. When your blood sugar spikes and crashes, so does your cortisol, your estrogen, and even your serotonin. When you have stable glucose in the body, you have a stable mood. All right? I really want you to remember this, and I like to remind my clients this. You don't get energy from caffeine, you get it from cellular health. Your mitochondria, the little energy factories inside of your cells, thrive when they have nutrients, minerals, and oxygen. So think of your daily food as an investment to your future energy. Whole foods, minerals like magnesium and potassium, protein for repair, and antioxidants from colorful plants, they all help your body to create real sustainable energy. And you can't out-supplement or out-hustle your way to feeling good. It starts with nourishment. I have seen far too many women try to push themselves to the absolute max by, let's say they're trying to start a business or they're working this big job, they're working stupid hours, living off caffeine and not eating enough food, and then living off protein shakes for every single meal, and then snacking when they get home until they go to bed at night. And then they wake up, repeat the cycle, and just burn out and crash. The body cannot handle this. The body cannot handle this for too much longer than probably a couple of months before you literally hit burnout mode. Okay? There's only so much you can put your body under this type of pressure. The most common mistakes I see women make, okay, are number one, skipping breakfast, which drives up cortisol and leads to sugar cravings later. When you're having breakfast in the morning, it's not about just eating, a piece of toast or having a plain protein shake or eating a protein bar. It's actually about setting yourself up for the day with something nutritious and wholesome. What you do in the morning and the habits you form in the morning sets you up for the tone of your day. So by skipping breakfast and just having a coffee or literally just eating a piece of toast, that's basically how the rest of your day is probably going to thrive and go. So by having a decent breakfast in the morning, it's going to make a massive difference to your energy. The second mistake I see women making is under-eating protein. This means your body is starting to break down muscle for energy. Something as women we can't afford to have happen to us. We need to be holding on to as much muscle as we can. Okay, because as women, you hit a certain age, and it's generally around 35 where your muscle starts to decline, and we need muscle to support our bones so that when we reach our 40s or that perimenopausal stage, we aren't putting ourselves at risk of osteoporosis and arthritis, which is bone degenerative diseases. We need muscle on our body, so we don't want to be using it as our energy, which means we need to eat enough protein. The third mistake I see women making is overdoing coffee, which makes us fatigue, okay? It's masking fatigue instead of fixing it. Now, I'm a massive fan of having a coffee, but I like to have a coffee because I generally enjoy the taste. I'll have it with my breakfast. I'm not drinking coffee after coffee after coffee to keep myself going. Okay, if we're using if we're using coffee to stay energized, that's a massive red flag that there's something else that needs attention. Okay, so if you're reaching for a coffee to stay awake or to carry on, maybe you need to look at the food that you're not eating or the sleep you're not getting or overdoing it in areas in certain part of your life. Or maybe you're busy being busy and that's not a good sign either. So if we're overdoing the coffee, it's a red flag that we need attention in some other areas of our health and our life. The fourth mistake I often see women make is underhydrating. Remember, even mild dehydration reduces mental focus by 10%. So if you're not drinking enough water, it's no wonder you can't focus. It's no wonder you can't get through the day without wanting to need a nap or needing to eat sugar or needing to reach for that next coffee because you've got no energy. Sometimes we just need some water to stay focused and to stay mentally on. So reach for more water more often. And I just don't understand when people say, I don't like water. Without water, you die. So you need to find a way to enjoy water, whether it means you infuse it with a herbal tea, whether it means you add some herbs or mint or something fresh to your water so that you're drinking more. But water is life, so you need to make sure that you are finding time to hydrate. If you have to set an alarm on your phone, do that. But if you're underhydrated, you are going to be experiencing PMS, headaches, you're going to be experiencing fatigue, lack of concentration. There are a lot of things that can happen when we aren't drinking enough water. Worst case scenario, kidney infection, bladder infection, okay? And our kidneys are very important, vital organs that need to stay healthy. So you need to drink enough water to make sure that your body is detoxifying itself, because it does that on its own. And the last one I want to touch on, which is a common mistake a lot of women make, is relying on convenience foods. Look, this might save time short term, but it'll drain your long-term energy and gut health. We can't rely on convenience foods every single day. Look, I understand every now and again there might be a need for having that convenience food, right? But if we're relying on convenience food every single day, this is something that's going to affect our energy massively because we're not getting enough key nutrients that our body needs to thrive, and also our gut health. If you're not getting enough fiber from eating enough fruits and vegetables and seeds and whole grains, then your gut's not getting enough different types of foods to feed the microbes inside you, inside your gut. And when your gut is not flourishing like a garden, it's going to let you, your body's going to let you know about it. You're going to start feeling fatigued, feeling low in energy, and then your mindset comes with that. You start to think not so good thoughts because, like I said before, the gut and the brain is so connected. So we can't rely on convenience foods all the time, and we need to make sure we're cooking from scratch more. So the fix is actually quite simple, but it requires awareness. So start your day with a balanced breakfast with protein, fats, and fiber. And if you need ideas and help for that, check out my website and go and read some of my blogs. I put blog posts on my website, which I know might sound quite old school in this day and age, but I love writing blogs because they are free resources for you to be able to get more insight and helpful tips and guidance on your health and wellness journey. You need to hydrate before you caffeinate. You need to batch prep simple, nourishing meals so that you have real food ready to go when life gets busy. It's all about your meal prep with your nutrition. There's not really any way around it unless you can pay someone to cook for you, or you can pay a chef to come in a couple times a week, or a student even. You know, sometimes spending the money to get people to help you do the things that you don't have as much time to do so that you can stay healthier and less stressed, great, do that. But if you don't, you do need to sacrifice some time to meal prep and do your food shop. And sometimes what I'll get clients to do is go, okay, I want to see your screen time. How many hours are you spending on social media? How many times a week are you watching Netflix? How many times a week are you procrastinating doing other things like washing your windows when you know you should be meal prepping first, and the washing the windows thing can come later, or you can pay someone else to do that, because the time you spend working and the money you earn every hour when you're working, you know, you can't really put a price on paying someone to wash your windows, which might cost you less than what you're earning in an hour. You know what I mean? So we need to really ensure we are prioritizing that time to meal prep. It is key. All right, so here's the mindset shift. For years as women, we've been taught that success equals sacrifice. But what if nourishment was your new productivity tool? When you eat well, your brain literally works better. Decision making, emotional regulation, and creativity all improve. And these are massive, right? In your areas of work or business or whatever it is that you do, you need this. Ambitious women don't need to do more. They actually need to feel better. So your job this week is to pick 3 non-negotiables: protein at every meal, 2 fists of vegetables at lunch, and water before coffee. All right, try it for 7 days and see if you notice a difference in your energy. So, because you know me, or you might not, you might be new here, welcome. We can't talk about nutrition without bringing the hormone aspect into it, which is my absolute favorite topic to chat about. In your follicular and ovulation phases of your cycle, and if you don't understand what I mean about these phases in your cycle, you need to go back to another podcast and understand the different phases of your cycle, or again, head to my website, which will be linked in the description below, and go and check out a blog post that talks about the different phases of your menstrual cycle. But in your follicular and ovulation phases, your body is more insulin sensitive, meaning you can handle a little bit more carbohydrate. So lean into your fruit, your grains, and your root vegetables with your protein. All right. And in your luteal and menstrual phases, increase your protein, your magnesium and iron rich foods. Think things like pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, even cacao, and some red meat. This little gentle shift that you can make supports your body, okay, instead of fighting against it. And now you don't need to go and drastically overhaul every meal you have, but just keep into consideration that these different phases of your cycle can actually require different needs in terms of food, or you can add in to what you're already doing. All right. So if you could take one thing away from this short, sharp episode, it is that you can't build the life you want on low energy. Nutrition isn't another thing to tick off your list. It's actually what powers the list. Start with the basics. Build your meals around protein, fat, fiber, and color, and watch how your energy transforms from the inside and out. Now, if you're ready to get a personalized plan that fits your body, your cycle, and your lifestyle, you can apply for my VIP coaching or jump on the waitlist for my up-and-coming course. Links are in the show notes below. And as always, thank you for tuning into the Wild Body Podcast. If this episode has resonated with you, share it with a friend who needs to hear that her nutrition really does matter. But until the next time, keep fueling your body, honoring your rhythm, and living your most vibrant, well life. I'll see you in the next episode.